Over the past 9 months, the Biden administration has been out of control. They have been not only in some ways taking the country down. America is, we have to admit, a different country than it was just a year ago. And basic liberties that we took for granted, the right to assemble, the right to speak, the right to practice your faith and go to church, suddenly all of these are questioned, are undermined. Suddenly, you find that censorship has now become a routine reality in American life. The prosecution and persecution of political opponents. It's not even that easy to draw the line of distinction anymore between free and authoritarian societies. There are authoritarian elements that are very much now part of the fabric of American life. I'm not just talking about authoritarianism directed at Trump or directed at the January 6th defendants, but authoritarianism directed at all of us. What is the Biden attempted vaccine mandate, if not an attempt to force us to do something that, where did the government have the authority to do any of this? Now, many of us as conservatives, as Republicans, have been trying to ask, what is it that has propelled the Democrats and the left into this war of aggression on basic American norms and liberties? What has given them the sense that they can get away with it? Well, I was last weekend speaking at David Horowitz's Restoration Weekend. Debbie and I made our way to Florida, and I gave the audience there kind of a startling message. I said the one factor that propels the aggression of the left and of the Democrats is you, by which I meant us, by which I meant the Republicans, the conservatives. And I'm not just talking about the so-called rhinos or the establishment conservatives. I'm talking about all of us, because the Democrats, I argued, have been studying us. You know, when they use phrases like critical race theory, what they mean is that they're going to begin with critical observation. They're going to watch us, as they have been now for 20 to 30 years. And the Democrats, I argued, have come to the conclusion that we, the Republicans, well, we're the party of the namby-pambies, which means we are the party of the nice guys. We are the party of the people who want to go along and get along. We're the party of live and let live. We are the party that, quote, stands on principle. And my point is the Democrats love this. Why? Because they are unprincipled. And there's nothing more that unprincipled people love than the idea of a bunch of principled people who are too dignified and too lofty and too much on their moral high horse to respond effectively to what the Democrats are doing, to the havoc that they're unleashing upon us and upon the country. Now, the Democrats believe that a party of principles, a party that is made up of nice guys and guys who don't want to fight, who would rather, make calls for civility and unity. And they talk about, one America, people who talk about let's rally behind the anthem, let's rally behind the flag. Part of what I wanted to say to my audience last weekend was, listen, these things have become, in a sense, polite fictions. When a country doesn't have a border, it's not really a country anymore. When you have a bunch of people on one side of the political divide who refuse to salute the flag, well, you don't really have a national flag anymore. When you have a bunch of people who want to take a knee, they don't just not want to sing the anthem, they revile the anthem and everything it stands for, then what are you going to do? Make them sing? You have to realize that this anthem has now become our anthem, but it's not their anthem. So these are the realities of American political life that we need to fully grasp. And we also need to grasp the fact that the other side has decided that because we are the Christians, we are more likely to turn the other cheek. Because we don't like a fight, we don't even like politics all that much, we'd rather be doing something else. They go, that's fine. Leave politics to us. We'll take it over. We'll run it for you, and we'll run it right over you. Now, the left's view is basically this. They don't say it quite this way, but they feel this, and I think we know that they do. Their view is, listen, we'll come and knock down your monuments because we know you're not going to knock down our monuments. It's just not even like you to do that. And we're going to pack the court. Why? Because we know that even if you had all the power, if you had all the branches of government, you wouldn't pack the court. You're in love with the idea of 9 justices. You're going to try to keep it at 9. So we can pack the court without a fear that you will do reciprocally to us what we are doing to you. We can use the deep state against you. We'll use the FBI to go after you. We know that you're not going to use the FBI to go after us. I remember when Bill Barr testified before the Democratic Senate, he basically said, name one Democrat that I have gone after. You keep accusing me of political prejudice, but it was a point of pride for Barr that there was not one Democrat that he had used the power of the DOJ to go after. Well, the left loves all this. They're chuckling and they're thinking, this is fantastic. Under Eric Holder, we will use the DOJ to go after you. Then you bring in first Sessions and then Bill Barr, who take it as a point of pride that they will never do this. And then we'll bring in, when we come back, we'll bring in Merrick Garland and do it to you some more. So this is the one-sidedness that now drives American politics, in which our weakness feeds their arrogance and their irredentism, their aggression against us. And this, in some ways, I think, is the crisis of the Republican Party. We need a new and invigorated GOP, a GOP, I would say, that is more in the manner of Lincoln, a GOP that recognizes that we are in a national crisis. Lincoln, by the way, in his great Lyceum address, said, shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us at a blow? Never. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. So Lincoln knew that the greatest threat to America would come from within America. But very interestingly, Lincoln uses this generic we. And the point I've always thought reading that speech is, who's we? Who are the people inside of America that actually want to kill America? Well, it turns out it's not the generic we, but rather it's a very powerful group of people who dominate our culture. This is the political left, and a very powerful party. This is the Democratic Party, currently, in a sense, in charge of running American society. And these are the people who think that it would be better, if you will, if traditional America disappeared. They're not trying to get rid of America in that they're not trying to get rid of the borders of America, the boundaries of America. They're not trying to get rid of the American people per se, but what they're trying to get rid of is the recognizable American stamp, which is to say they are at war with American exceptionalism. They're very powerful people in America who want and are working overtime to kill America. The only people who can stop them is the Republican Party, but not this Republican Party, at least not this Republican Party in its current shape. We need a stronger, more vigorous, more creative, more effective GOP that is fully up to the challenge posed by the other side.